We're at 237th Street in Woodlawn in the Bronx. And this is our 50th anniversary since we opened our first store. Our very first store was only 1,800 square feet. So the deli was only 6 feet. Then the meat was like 18 feet. We had 2 aisles of groceries. And then we had like 12 feet of produce. And that's how basically we started with that little store. Produce and produce. After the produce, we started the beer, and then 2 aisles of groceries.
I'm a friend of John's since he opened a little store on Katona Avenue in the Bronx. He was my grocer. So he knew I had kids, and he was a caring guy. And he went out of his way to take care of my family. And ever since, births, deaths, graduations, he was always there. He fed the family. I tell my kids all the time, go to John's, get it from John. Why? I said, because he's been feeding us all of your life. That's why.
Well, the early days, basically, he said, John and my other brother, Frank, they had the stores. I was working with them part-time. Then my wife, Diane, she came on board, and she was working cashier. She was doing a lot of other jobs. So basically, both of us were working there for a while.
I joined in the fall of 1973. I began working after school and on the weekends. We did have fun, and we learned along the way, but we never realized what was to be.
To tell you how it grew was that basically the fellow down the block, he had the store, and it was for sale. We were worried that if somebody else would take over, he could put us out of business. For that reason, then we had to buy that store. In other words, to protect ourselves, we had to keep growing. And then after that came Putnam, our first store in Westchester.
What happened in Putnam, the mayor had called me up. He said, look, would you like to look at the store in Putnam? So I went there. We invited my father to come along with us. When we go to Putnam, we go inside the store and we looked at it. For us, it was big because we came from a very small store. So I go to my father, hey, Pop, what do you think? He says, son, I like it. Well, what had happened after that, unfortunately, he got a stroke. He was in the hospital, and he was there for a while. So me and Marie went to visit him one day. He grabs my hand, and he says, Figlio mio, my son, buy that store, buy that store. And that was the last thing he said. And then he passed away. So then I go back to my brother and said, guys, we got to buy this no matter what. It's Pop's last word. And that's what we did. We went and we bought the store. Like a month or two later. I feel like it was a lucky charm. Being in business 50 years, it was unbelievable. Able to see all the achievements, especially the last 15 years with my nephew and my 2 sons, we were able to achieve. It just touched my heart.
Growing up in a family business is a unique situation. You're with your family 24/7. Overall, it's extremely rewarding. And just the simple things of having lunch together every day it's precious, and it's things that a lot of people don't get to have. And we're very lucky to be in that situation.
For me, the best part of working with my family is growing, getting older, making memories together, sharing ideas, continue my career with my father, my uncle, my cousins, really rewarding.
When I was really young, I used to go to work with my dad when he was a butcher at the time at his first store on Katona Avenue. I was always mesmerized with my dad as he was a butcher cutting up the meat.
At 2 years old, all he wanted to do was go to the store with his father. John was able to go with his dad.
I know when he was a little kid, I used to holler at him all the time, John, don't push the button on the belt, I got the juice on there. What do you do? You push the button on the juice, it goes on the floor.
And it went on like this until Chris became of age and he wanted to go too.
So he'd have me sweep a little bit, and when I got lucky, he'd give me a few quarters so I can go next door to the pizzeria and play Pac-Man. So that was my reward for sweeping up the store a bit.
It was just their destiny. It was in their blood, I think, from the very beginning.
For me, there really wasn't a time when I knew that I didn't want to be in the business. I think from a very early age, I always wanted to be in the business. I enjoyed the feeling and sense of belonging to something and belonging to a team.
When I joined Chris and John for our first venture, one of the things that I always wanted to envision for our future business was that it wasn't really a traditional supermarket, that we really curated the offerings, we merchandised the communities we're in, and that we would have something unique to offer our customers.
My son Joseph, my 2 nephews, John Jr. and Chris, and to know that they have the drive, the ambition, they have that burning desire, and they brought it to a level that they have surpassed what we are capable of doing.
The most rewarding part was to see them actually bring the entire business to a new level. They are doing things me and my brother could not have done years ago with technology, with every aspect of the business. I think they accomplish things that we could never have done in the past. They could still have the capacity to keep growing.
We listen to our customers, and that's just part of our customer service mantra, that we take customer requests very seriously and we do tailor them to each neighborhood that we're in. As head of purchasing, I personally attend about 10 food shows a year, and that's simply just to make sure that we've got our hand on the pulse and we're on trend with everything that's going on in the food industry.
One of the things we wanted to build upon when the three of us started taking over was that community spirit of our stores. We're located in downtown communities. We want to be a meeting place for everyone throughout, have their neighbors come and meet each other. So we started adding pubs, bocce ball courts. It's really a way to bring us to the community to us. We were the first to do growlers back in 2006. We were the first to put a bar in a supermarket in New York State. We were the first to do growlers in New York State. We're always advancing and trying to be really the leader of the pack when it comes to the beer industry and what we can do and bring to the consumers.
Once both my boys were finishing up with school, I embarked on a new career. After teaching, then I decided I wanted to be a part of the bakery department in our stores. I was able to get myself connected with a local bakery, and I worked there for a while to sort of learn the ropes. And then I decided to really go for it, and the first bakery was in the Putnam store.
Over the years, we got involved with many community organizations, Chamber of Commerce, hospitals, colleges, programs for cancer. There's a big list of organizations we've helped over the years.
The American Cancer Society's partnership with DeCicco Sons started back in 2017. And through the years, various staff, including myself, have had the pleasure of working with the DeCicco's team. And from every level of the company, they're just a pleasure to work with. They're super passionate, highly engaged, and just really down-to-earth people who care about the community.
It's really our team members are the most important part of our business, and really without them, we are nothing.
If you look at Johnny and you see some of his workers, it was amazing. 5 years later, the same people were working there. 10 years later, the same. 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later, the same people are working there. They never leave them. That's a good employer.
1990, I came here looking for a job. John DeCicco and Joe DeCicco Sr. hired me. I'm very happy. I've always been happy here. Customers know everybody by their first name. It's always a family neighborhood store.
I'm with the company going on 13 years. I started with the company when it was a lot smaller. The company has grown tremendously, and I could personally say that I've grown with the company as well. They're very generous. Our voices are always heard, and our opinions matter.
I want to work here all my life. I want to finish my career here. The way that they treat us, that's one of the reasons that we love this company. The Chicos always take care of us.
Everyone feels like they're involved and they're part of something bigger. It almost feels like you're not really working because you're with your family, you're with your friends.
They are with DeCicco Sons. It's not just us, it's everyone involved in the entire company. That's what really makes us special, and to me, it makes us a full family.
The friendships I made over time and the relationships that were created in the business for me, they meant a lot. And I enjoyed that, as well as simultaneously learning every single department and enjoying all aspects and facets of the business, whether it be, from the meat to the produce, the deli, to the construction, to now the environmental aspects, and now the business aspects and the analytics and the technology part. I enjoy all of it. And I love to push the company to a new level and always to have the company be the first to do something. And to me, that really means a lot. To me personally, it's like a sense of accomplishment that I have, and it's something that I really enjoy doing and has always enjoyed doing.
One of the founders, I will use the word wisdom that I would share with my boys, is to treat people with respect and kindness. To me, that's one of the main things I love to share with them and pass it on from generation to generation. I think once you have those qualities, I think good things will always happen.
We have each other's support all the time, unconditionally. I just get a sense of comfort and a sense of peace that we're together and we have each other all the time to be there for each other.
We're so proud of our husbands, and now to see the next generation and to see it, my son and my nephews, and all I could think of is just Let them always have, and they will have, the respect for each other, the love for each other. They all bring different things to the table, but the family comes first.
The first generation got it off the ground, but now the second generation has raised it to heights that we could have never imagined. We're thankful and grateful to our in-laws for coming to America, and for us to meet them and go on as a family is the greatest gift from heaven.
Thank you for 50 years.